Hello, welcome to this accredited AI testing course based on the ISTQB syllabus. My name is Stuart Reid, I'm your trainer. Just to give you some background, I started working in IT in 1983. I then worked for over 6 years, working on embedded real-time systems, and then moved into the university sector and worked for over 18 years at the Cranfield University in the UK. Since 2007, I've been working as a Chief Technology Officer for different testing organisations in London, Seoul and in between. This slide shows you the scheme of the ISTQB. What you can see is, at the bottom, everything starts at the foundation level. So if you're taking this course and intending to get the exam and get certified, then you require the foundation level certification already. It's the prerequisite for every one of the other parts of the scheme. On the right, you can see that AI testing, the course we're looking at now, is part of the specialist stream. You can also move up to the advanced level from foundation, or you can move across and move into the agile stream. This is an outline of the course. The course is basically 3 separate areas. We have an introduction to AI and machine learning so that we understand the basics and what we're going to test. We then move into the testing of AI-based systems, and from there at the very bottom you can see that we can use AI for testing, so that's a completely different perspective for the course. So first part, learning about AI and machine learning. Second part, learning about how to test AI systems. And the third part, how we can use AI to actually support the different testing activities. ISTQB courses are based around learning objectives. And in this course, you'll find that we have learning objectives from levels 1 up to level 4. So K1, K2, K3 or K4. If you're taking this course to pass the exam, you'll already have passed the certification at the foundation level, in which cases you should be familiar with K1, K2 and K3. K1 is just remember or recall. In this case, if there's a list, for instance, you just have to remember the list. You don't have to understand it at all. At level 2, you must understand something. So maybe you have to give examples or recognise examples that match a given situation. At level 3, you have to be able to apply methods and techniques. So from a testing perspective, apply would be appropriate if we were checking whether or not you could apply a test technique, like boundary value analysis. The new level for this course that you won't have seen before is level 4, which is to analyse. So typically for analysing, you'll need to look at a scenario and decide what's the best approach given that a scenario. Now, learning objectives are important because we use the learning objectives to create the exam questions. So if there's a learning objective, there'll be an exam question. Different for this course are hands-on objectives. These are special to this, so you won't have seen these before in foundation level. As with learning objectives, they're at different levels, and you can see here that we've got 3 different levels of hands-on objectives. At H0, it's a live demo of an exercise, or you watch a recorded video. At H1, it's a guided exercise where you follow what the trainer tells you to do. And H2 is just a bit more advanced. You're given an exercise with relevant hints, and you should already have been told how to do this, and you follow the hints and you solve the exercise. One of the really special things about the hands-on objectives is they're not examined. Now, as part of the accreditation of the course, courses matching the certification have to include hands-on objectives, but on the other hand, we won't have them examined in the exam. On this course, we've got 3 different types of media that you'll be using. All the lectures are videoed, as you're watching now. For the exercises, there are 2 options. Many of the exercises are videoed as well, so you can actually follow me doing the exercises. For some of the exercises, they're individual, so there isn't a video. You actually will have to follow the exercise in the exercise guide. In fact, you'll be given the exercise guide, which is well over 100 pages. It covers all of the exercises, both the ones that are videoed and the ones you'll do on your own. And if you just follow the exercise guide, you can do any of the exercises. To perform the exercises, you've got to have the software on your machines, so laptops or PCs, so you need to prepare. If you go to the exercise guide, you'll see that there's an appendix called PreExercise Preparation, and that tells you how to set up the PC or the laptop with each of these different applications. Some of them you'll have already, for instance Excel. Most of the others I doubt, but they don't take long to either download and install, or in many of the cases they're just available across the web. For one of them you'll have to register, and that's for the combinatorial testing, but that's all been organised in advance. So what course materials do you get for this? Well, you get all the lectures and exercise videos. You'll get a handout at the beginning, this testing syllabus, the slides, the exercise guide, and you'll also get given a practice exam. This slide shows the set of course materials you're given for the course. Obviously, you'll be given access to the lecture and exercise videos. You'll also be given the actual syllabus along with an AI-specific glossary. You'll also be given a copy of every one of the slides you're watching, including the one now. These are useful for adding notes to. As I've previously mentioned, there's an exercise guide. This is well over 100 pages, and this describes every one of the exercises in detail. For those of you who want to take the exam, there's a practice exam. This is provided by ISTQB, and it provides examples of questions for each of the different learning objectives, along with explanations, and is a good way of checking whether or not you're ready to take the real exam. So, what does the real exam look like? It's very similar to CTFL, the foundation level. It's 40 multiple choice questions, and as you can see, we've got 4 K1 questions, so 4 recall questions, 29 K2s, where you have to understand, so the vast majority there, and both K1 and K2 are worth 1 point per question. If you only do the K1s and K2s, you can pass the exam, because that would give you 33 marks, and you only need 31 to pass. There are 3 K3 questions and 4 K4 questions. So K3 is applying a method, such as a test technique, and the K4s are doing analysis. So looking at a scenario and working out what to do, or what techniques perhaps to choose for that particular scenario. That gives a maximum number of marks of 47, and you need 31 to actually pass the exam. As with most ISTQB exams, if there are 40 questions, you get given 1 hour to take the exam. If you're going to take the exam in a language other than your native language, then you get an extra 15 minutes, so you end up with 75 minutes. It's a closed book exam, so you're not allowed to take any books into the exam with you. It will be invigilated, and photo ID will be required to make sure the person taking the exam is the person who gets the certificate. Don't worry about the exam. If you do the course, if you do all the exercises, you should have no worries about passing the exam. So, how to pass? During the course, I suggest you follow the slides on your copies. There are short exercises for each of the K3 and K4 learning objectives, and this gives you practice for when you see similar problems in the actual exam itself. There are also a number of hands-on exercises. Now, these are not examined. However, I've included material in the hands-on exercises to help you understand a number of the other learning objectives. so don't miss out the hands-on exercises. Understanding them and completing them will help you pass the exam. While going through the course, make your own notes on the slides. We can't put all the information on every slide, so make notes of what I say and the things that you think are the key points. After each session, I suggest you review the slides and your notes to make sure you understand everything. If there's any areas that you have problems with, the first port of call should be looking at the syllabus, which will give you detailed background. And of course, you can also use the sample exam. The course is expected to be hard work. There's no point doing it otherwise, but it's also supposed to be fun. If you can't answer any of the questions, then send them in to us and we'll respond as quickly as possible. And you can do that via the bulletin board or via email.